Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody. I have something really cool to tell you about. If you haven't heard yet about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain here. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one single place. Now, the way that you can do this is you got to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, and then you can get started. It's really fun. We just switched over recently here at All Too Real 2, and I'm enjoying it so far. So be sure to check it out and let us know what you think. Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Matthew Rambo.
Are you Rambo like R-A-M-B-E-A-U or R-A-M-B-O?
Yeah. Pick your poison. You just.
So you're either a comic book character or a former Vietnam vet who is out for blood.
Yep. Yep. One of those two.
Okay.
Nothing in between.
Nope. Or it could be like Son of Rambo, B-O-W, which was a good movie
Right.
if you've never seen it. Highly recommended, people. Check it out. And report back to me, Mike at cullenpark.com. Okay, anyways. So, today on the show, we are covering the 4th episode of the Disney Plus series, WandaVision. This episode is entitled, We Interrupt This Program, which is an apt title.
Mm-hmm.
Because we kind of veer off from what we've been seeing in the previous 3 episodes, where we've been stuck in sitcom land with Wanda and Vision. In this, we actually get to see what's going on the outside of Westview. And basically, we start out with Monica Rambeau,
who is an agent of S.W.O.R.D. And she has returned after the blip, or the snap, or the bye-bye half the people. That's what I like to call it.
The bye-bye half people?
Yeah, bye-bye half of the people.
That sounds nicer when you put it that way.
You know, it's a good thing that when he snapped and he got rid of half the people, he didn't screw up and somehow just get rid of half the people, like their lower half or something. You know.
Well, either way, it still would have killed them. It would be a gruesome death.
But then in that case, everybody would have died probably.
At least it was merciful about it. But it just writhing in pain as half their bodies are gone. That would have been really fucked up.
Yeah. I never thought about that until right now. It's like the whole thing, you know, where it's like a reverse mermaid. That would be kind of sucky.
Right.
No.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. I have a weird mind, Matt. Anyway, so Monica comes back. She had been gone for 5 years during the blip, and she comes back and it's 2023. She's at the hospital, and you know, luckily wakes up in the chair that she had been sitting in 5 years prior. Which is explained in some ways, I guess. They because my thing about the I always wondered about that the people coming back. What about people that were like in an airplane in the sky?
Well, yeah. They would just be like falling from the sky or something.
Or people in a boat. In a boat, they're all of a sudden drowning. Or
that's so terrible. They get resurrected and they immediately just fall to their death because there's no airplane anymore.
Yeah. But I guess it's been stated that when Smart Hulk snapped the thing, he decided to be smart about it.
Okay.
And somehow wish that they'd be returned safely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Because I also thought about the thing too, like, you know, what if you're like, you know, like say you're taking a shower in your apartment that used to be some guy's apartment that lived there, and when he was blipped, he was taking a shower too, and all of a sudden you wake up and I mean you're in the shower, and all of a sudden this guy's in the shower with you.
Some random dude just pops up. Yeah, that's messed up. I'll give you a heart attack or something like that. It's interesting though when they showed that, right? Because like, you know, they don't really show that on screen in Endgame except for when the heroes show up, but like everyone else just reappears, like, you know, all at once.
Because it's like, I mean, they show a little bit of it in Spider-Man: Far From Home, but it's, you know, it's still kind of interesting to think about. I mean, I'd like to see like a series or like a mini series or something just about random people that were returned. Yeah. You know, and how they're dealing with things or something like that. Because that's got to be like psychologically damaging to lose 5 years of your life like that.
Right. I mean, it's traumatic in every sense of the word, for all parties, really. Plus, too, it actually looked kind of creepier to me to see people returning from that dust and disappearing. Like, it was actually more like traumatizing to see that.
It's interesting too, and I mean, you see all these people in the hospital and everything, and then in the episode, Monica's all worried about her mom because she was there with her mom, and I guess her mom died of cancer while she was gone, so that's gotta suck. Right. So, and they basically tell her that her mom died like 3 years ago.
Right.
So that just really sucks for people. Like, you know, you don't get to say goodbye to your mom. You don't get to, you know. That's really got to suck for Monica. That's got to be psychologically weighing on her a lot in this.
Yeah.
So, anyways, 3 weeks later after that, Monica returns to her work and is and we meet acting director Tyler Hayward. He's a guy that took over for Monica's mom, who was the director, I guess. Maria Rambeau. Yeah.
The founder and director of Sword.
Yes. And director Hayward is played by Josh Stamberg. So, just so people know, he's been in a lot of movies and TV shows. He tends to play cops and FBI agents and things of that nature, so he fits this role pretty well.
Right. Wasn't he also in like a comedy show too once or something?
He might have been.
Was it Worst Week Ever, or was it Perfect Couples or something like that? Or
I don't know. Let me see here.
I don't know. That's kind of a tangent. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, that's fine. That's what we do. He's played a judge on Law and Order SVU. He a TV miniseries called The Loudest Voice. He had a recurring role on Nashville, recurring role on Parenthood. Trying to see if he was in an episode of Arrested Development. He had a recurring role on Drop Dead Diva, which was kind of a comedy. So yeah, I mean, and he had a recurring role on Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. But yeah, he has played a lot of lieutenants and judges and agents and things of that nature.
All that,
so
all that jazz.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and he's been acting since 1994. So there we go. Okay, so so like I said, okay, now we director Tyler Hayward sends her to help out FBI agent Jimmy Woo, who we have previously met in Ant-Man and the Wasp, who was the agent assigned to Scott Lang, played by Randall Park. He's there looking for a missing person. And that's the thing, is like, who is this missing person? That's what I'm wondering, you know?
Yeah.
The main thing here is so they go to the outskirts of Westview here, and there's a couple cops there. There's like a hexagonal static field surrounding the town. There's some cops there, like sheriffs or something, and they are convinced that the town of Westview doesn't exist, but there is a town called Eastview. So, some kind of mind control over them or something.
Right, and they're just standing there at the edge of town, literally, and like there's a sign that says Westview right next to them.
Yeah.
And they're saying that no such town exists, and they're like, oh, who are these jokers? And, it's like, dude, like, you're literally standing next to a sign that says Westview.
Which makes me wonder, like, why are they under this mind control and Monica and Jimmy aren't?
Yeah, they didn't really. Well, they said something like, we have some kind of connection to it, or could sense the town, or something like that.
Yeah.
For some reason.
It makes you wonder, like, why all these people, like, at Sword can, know that the town's there and other things, But,
interesting, yeah, I don't know.
So, anyways, yeah, I'm still just wondering who this missing person that Jimmy's after is. But, I guess we'll find out eventually.
Yeah.
So, they send in a drone. Monica sends in a drone which we later find out turns into the helicopter that Wanda had found in the second episode in her front yard. So, so it's interesting. Like the drone she sends in is like in Captain Marvel colors too, which is kind of interesting. So she sends that in, and they so what happens now then, Matt?
Well, she sends it in, and then it goes into static and disappears into that energy field. So then Monica goes to walk up to it, and she kind of sticks her hand into it a little bit, and says what it is, and she, Jimmy's like telling her, like, be careful, and she keeps, sticking in farther until she just gets totally pulled into the town. And then that's when SWORD now is taking all of their people to go find Monica, see what's going on with her. And Monica just becomes part of the show, so to speak. And you had I forgot her name. She was in Thor, the character in Thor.
Oh, Darcy Lewis. Yeah,
she's part of like this team that they brought in, like from people from like all different fields. Like I think she's astrophysics, and you got like a guy like who's an artificial intelligence. You got a chemical engineer. Pretty much just covering all bases, trying to figure out like how to get into this town or figure out like what's actually going on there. And then Darcy, she's like kind of like measuring like the radioactivity or whatever, and she like finds what was it called, EMDR or something like that.
I think so, something like that.
It's basically like radiation from the Big Bang that's still kind of like residual. Yeah, and that's actually like where you get like TV static is from that. Like it kind of picks up that. So she sees like a little blip of like what's going on, and she asks for like an old TV, like like the tube, not the flat screen stuff, to see what's going on. And then that's when she discovers that there's like this TV show going on with Wanda and Vision, and she's like he's like dead, right? Like not a blip, like he's actually supposed to be like dead, right? And the Hayward's like asking her like, is this? I'm not sure if it was Hayward. Someone else was asking, like, is this recorded or is this, like I have no idea what's going on about, like, So we kind of get an idea that there's, the people on the outside, like a SWORD, they're actually like experiencing all this stuff like in real time, like how we're waiting like weeks, for episode. Like this is all happening like really quickly, like within like 24 hours, of itself. And it's actually Darcy at the end of episode 1 who's watching the TV at the end of that. That's actually her taking notes about like what's going on. And it's really interesting. It kind of gets a little bit creepier from there, actually.
Yeah. So the Darcy ends up finding out that, through all this stuff, that there's like this TV show going on too.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that they end up grabbing these old televisions, and yeah. So Darcy had used this spectrum analyzer to figure out that there's some kind of broadcast coming through, as we were saying. So she ends up needing like an old television, so they bring her an old television, and there's like these old it's like a sitcom. They're trying to figure out who these people are in the sitcom and what's going on. And it's like my favorite line in the episode was what was Jimmy saying to her, so you're saying the universe created a sitcom starring 2 Avengers? And then she's like, it's a working theory.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, but plus 2, so we're like, they're trying to figure out like if like the characters like they're trying to figure out what's actually going on. Basically, like they have no idea if this is like some weird like art experiment or whatever. They eventually end up finding out that like the people in the town are like actual people from Westview. Like they're not just like made up characters. Like they're the actual people who live there, and they're stuck playing like this role, you know?
Yeah, it's like they find out that these people have different names. Some of the names are actually the names that they give them are actually people that are associated with the show, like people that are like behind the scenes on the show and stuff like that, which is I think kind of funny.
It's a nice homage or gesture, you know.
Yeah. So basically we start to find out that they place like names to all these people, with the exception of Agnes, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So that could mean something. And I don't know if it's because it's too early in the broadcast or whatever, but they don't even have Dottie on the screen on the board that they have.
Yeah.
With the people and their things. So basically, it makes you wonder, like, what's going on with this? Like, are these people just trapped in this town and forced to act out this sitcom?
Right.
Were they originally from this town? Did she just pick random people and put them in this town? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm thinking it was the people that lived in Westview, and now they're all basically just fucked.
Well, I was thinking that too as one. Yeah, well, kind of. Well, because like my whole theory is what I love about the show is that they don't really let you know like really what's going on. Like every time there's like a working theory going on, they end up subverting it. So it's like, oh, I guess it's back to the drawing board about what the show's actually about. You know?
Yeah.
Like Wanda could be the enemy. Wanda could be being brainwashed by someone else. She could be being possessed or partially possessed at certain moments, but then, you know, she's lucid during the rest of the show. You know, be all kinds of different things going on. But yeah, I would say that I do think that they're actually townspeople, because if this is some sort of weird, like, make your reality what you want of it thing, if they just end up killing all the people in the town, I'm pretty sure that would make things a little bit more complicated for whoever's doing this, because now you got, you know, murder, you know, investigate, you know, they pretty much don't want people knowing what's going on, so they don't want to bring too much, you know, attention to what they're doing, basically. So, like, I guess my theory would be, well, these people live here, we can't really necessarily kick them all out, because that would have looked really suspicious, so can't kill them either, so I guess we'll just have them play a part, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting, because, I mean, and plus, you know, it's like they're not all just playing random parts too, because they're all still connected. Like the quote unquote real people that are playing the part of Mr. and Mrs. Hart, for example, are married in real life as well.
Right.
So it's like they're not just, you know, being stuck with random spouses that aren't their real spouses or something, you know.
Right. Like Dottie's, you know, married to Norm, and, you know, well, we don't know about that yet, about Dottie, but
yeah.
Which is interesting, like you said, Dottie and Agnes are the only two that haven't been revealed yet to be, which is very, very interesting for lots of reasons. But
yeah.
Which they'll probably likely subvert any obvious theories about that as well, just because it's too obvious. So we'll probably end up being completely surprised by the end of this of what's actually really going on. But it's still fun to speculate.
Oh, I know.
You know,
I like being right. I like being wrong. It's cool. Cool. Yeah.
Well, you know, it jogs your mind to think about what's going on. You know, it's fun. So
yeah, and like I've said before, this the last time I've had this much fun speculating on a TV show was probably Lost.
Yeah,
and I mean that kind of disappointed me in the end, but I still loved the show. So
yeah,
and it did disappoint me because I was wrong half the time. So it was like,
well, you know,
yeah,
there's so many options. I mean, it's like I mean, so many possibilities, probably in the hundreds of thousands or millions.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah.
So basically, like, throughout this episode too, like the characters in the episode are asking sometimes answering all the questions that we've had thus far too. You know what I mean? Like all the speculation that we've had. They're talking about things like Jimmy writes on this whiteboard. The things that I saw that he wrote is why hexagonal shapes? Why sitcoms? Is Vision alive? You know, these are things that we're all asking, you know?
Exactly. It's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what they're doing. Literally like, here's all of your questions. We have the same questions. So
yeah,
we're all doing this together.
And, do you want to take a quick break here and then we'll come back for, just to talk more about this, what happens in the episode?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll be right back, folks.
It's the ninja from the Ask the Angry Ninja Show saying, come listen to the show. We got the ninja wife to give you your movie reviews. We got the conscript to give you the ninja news. And we got the battle to talk about your sports. And as always, it is the Ask the Angry Ninja Show. So ask me a question, we'll give you the ninja knowledge you need for your ninja life. Search for us anywhere you get your podcast from. Just search for the Ask the Angry Ninja Show and enjoy the show.
And we are back. Welcome back, folks. I hope you enjoy what you've been listening to so far. My name is Mike.
My name is... What I say it was? I'm like losing my identity very slowly. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
almost like people in the town, who have like a very fledgling understanding of reality and only get little spurts here and there, but then, they get back into the program.
Maybe you've been replaced.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Not.
So, anyways, back to the show.
Yeah.
There was, so they're watching the show on these TVs and stuff, the little sitcom that we saw, but there are certain things missing here and there that we didn't, like all those things, those times that, Wanda was, kind of fucking with things.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of skips ahead in the show. Darcy and everybody can't see that.
Right, exactly. Like when we're watching that, like they're seeing like the exact same thing. Like, well, no, they're not. We're like, yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? Like when when Vision was like in the last episode was like saying like, yes, I think there is something wrong, and then like it just like goes back to like that same scene all over again. Then says like the correct line or whatever, but yeah, like when Darcy's seeing it, they just see that disappearing. Like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah. Like there's footage missing from the episode. Which is kind of interesting. There's they sent this we find out about the beekeeper guy a little bit. They send in a one of their agents, even though Jimmy was kind of protesting the idea of this. They send one of their agents in, and he's in a hazmat suit, but when he enters the town, it turns into a beekeeper's outfit. So kind of like how, it seems like everything changes, like Monica's clothing changed when she entered in the town, Yeah. And the drones change into time period type things, like a toy helicopter and whatnot. So anything that enters the town changes.
Right. Also, can I make a point really quick?
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know if this was them doing it, or if this is how maybe I misinterpreted it, but it almost seems like when these people try to get in there, there's always like something that's related to Sword, so that she can know that they're infiltrators. Like, I'm not sure if they themselves were wearing Sword stuff into the town, or if like she instinctively knows that person's not someone who should be there, and then like with Wanda was wearing that Sword necklace, that would seem kind of
you mean Monica?
Sorry, Monica was wearing a Sword necklace, and you would think that would be kind of dumb to do if you're trying to infiltrate. You don't want to give an idea of who you are, so I don't know.
My theory is that was her, because when she went in, she was wearing a name badge around her neck that had the Sword logo on it.
Oh, okay.
That I think that turned into the necklace.
Okay. And then the beekeeper guy, he had a Sword logo on his back of his
hazmat suit. And then
that would be kind of stupid to wear that in there. So I think she's picking up on, or someone is picking up on these people who aren't supposed to be there, and kind of like giving her symbols to let her know, like, these aren't people who should be here. Like, look out for them. Like, be suspicious of them. That's just my working theory. But
it's like, I mean, the Sword logo kind of just sets her off. So at one point too, we end up seeing through her. We see what happened, where how Monica was sent back to the real world, and it was the part that we missed in the last episode, with that they skipped over. It's where Wanda basically confronts her, and she sends her through the wall. And then through the big bubble that's around the whatever you want to call it.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So yeah, that happened. We end up getting we see that part that we missed in the last episode. We also see that when Vision comes back in the room, Wanda looks at him, and she, for a split second, sees the dead Vision that we saw at the during Infinity War. Yeah, so that was creepy. So it makes me wonder: is Vision dead? Is he alive?
I really hope they're not going with this route of her animating a dead corpse. That just seems even too dark and like horror, even for like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like,
well, I mean, the thing is, I don't think she's animating him, because he seems to be sentient, like where he actually, has thoughts of his own. You know what I mean? Because there's like that. The scenes that we see, like with him talking to the neighbors and stuff, and she's not around, and then like also the scenes in the second episode where they were at that where he was at that block watch meeting at the library. So those scenes all did not include Wanda.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It just, I wonder what they were going with that. Maybe that's her realizing that he was dead at one point, or I don't know. It just because actually, it looked worse than when he had just died in Infinity War. I mean, it looked like his was decaying somewhat, because I don't know. Like in Infinity War, it looked like he was more purplish, whereas in this it was like gray. So I don't know.
Because it's interesting. I mean, because the thing is like if he's not, able to do things on his own, it would only be like I said, he'd only exist in scenes with Wanda.
Right.
So it's got to be something there because, you know, he's able to interact with the doctor. He's interacting with the townspeople, you know, in his own scenes. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he might not be Vision. He could be somebody else.
Right.
So who knows? But it's just interesting because it's kind of like when you like you know, spoilers here for The Good Place, but like the first season of The Good Place, where you realize that any scene that Michael's in, one of the other people are involved in it.
Right.
So that's how when the reveal that he's evil,
yeah,
at the end of the season, we don't ever see what he's doing when he's doing his evil doing. So.
Right. Exactly.
So it's interesting.
It could be Mephisto, or it could be something less obvious.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really know.
I mean, there's allusions to Wonder Man in the comics. He was actually a character that was created using Vision's mind and stuff like that, or vice versa. I can't remember, but you know, whatever it is, it could be Wonder Man. It could be they could be setting up something else, or it could just be Vision somehow brought back from the dead.
Right. Like, yeah. It is interesting.
So, my question here is, though, like when Monica was sent back out, I had the same question last week. Mm-hmm. Her clothes don't change from the 1970s clothes that she was wearing in there.
Right.
So I'm wondering about, like, when we catch up with her next time, is it going to be that maybe we don't know, you know, like maybe she's somehow still under a brainwash or something of that town, or something like that. I also think she might have encountered, like, when she might be gaining powers because of this too.
Right.
And it might be becoming Photon, which was also the name of her it was her mom's nickname, but that's also the character that she is in the comics.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Because if she did that, I mean, she didn't choose to do that, but like, it's kind of scary implications about that though, because it's like, if Wanda can do that, then that means that she can also affect the reality outside of Westview as well. So that could be like scary in a sense of like being able to expand this reality outward somewhat, not just contain it inside, you know, their little border that they got set up.
Yeah.
That's kind of, you know, maybe they'll go into that a little bit for the rest of the series, but yeah. Because you said too last week about the pants she was wearing were like fish, and then you said something about haddock.
Yeah. It's a type of fish.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to see what the reasoning behind her clothing not changing is. Yeah, it's, you know, we see this. I mean, her clothing doesn't change. I just don't get that. That's what I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, I'm wondering if, like, once you go into that town, if something happens to you. You know what I mean? So it kind of has me worried about all the people in there. Like, are they going to be fucked up for the rest of their lives, or what's going on?
Probably.
Yeah.
Or like you said, maybe his plan will backfire somewhat, and like it will give them powers. So whoever's controlling this, they might end up inadvertently creating, you know, opponents for themselves by doing this. Like,
yeah,
you know, Monica might become Photon by Wanda expelling her. You know,
yeah, because I think with maybe with something with Wanda's, you know, magic kind of happening there, that, you know, maybe she is creating that, and now she's going to be stuck as a, you know, I mean, not stuck, but like gaining powers. So and when when she comes out, you know, we end the episode with the music "Voodoo Child," which is interesting. So yeah, there's that.
Voodoo Child. So it's like, yeah. So it's like, who is the Voodoo Child here? Is it Wanda? Is it the actual children? You know, or also too, I thought of the whole idea of a voodoo doll, you know, which, you know, where you basically control other people via that. That made me think of Vision's dead corpse again. Of, you know, is she controlling? But like you said, it seems like he has a consciousness outside of Wanda, unless she herself is just controlling him from afar. But like, what would be the whole point of creating a false reality where every single person in the town is just like a marionette, and you're just like telling them what to say to you? It doesn't really seem worth it, really, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't think that they're marionettes. I think that they kind of know what's going on, but they're also afraid. It's almost like that Twilight Zone episode that people talk about all the time in relation to this, where there was the little boy who controlled a whole town in Ohio,
right?
Where you know, people were afraid of him, so they all acted, you know, good because they didn't want to upset the little boy.
Right, and he just did whatever he wanted. Yeah,
yeah.
Could be that too. Like when you said too, like when Mr. Hart was choking and she kept saying "stop it" and like laughing, because like you know, looking at Wanda somewhat, it was kind of like almost her way of pleading, but at the same time trying to, you know, keep on a happy face, you know, to play along. You know, like, at the same time,
it's like "stop it, don't kill my husband" sort of thing, you know.
Yeah. So fucked up. And then she's just like finally relents, it's like Vision help him, like almost like a queen or something like that, like, you know.
Yeah, like she's in charge of the thing. And but you see that too. It's like Vision has the power to help him, so he's got to be real too. You know what I mean? Because I don't think, unless it's somehow a marionette that she's controlling, I don't know.
I don't think she's controlling him, though.
No, I don't either.
Because he seems like he knows what's going on. He's playing it safe to try. Like, I think because Vision, one of his powers is he's able to acquire so much information and interpret it. So he might be basically taking all of this in bit by bit to try to figure out, you know, exactly what is going on, and he's kind of revealing it piecemeal to Wanda, like giving her these little hints, like, you know, I think something's wrong, or you know, we can leave. We don't have to live here, you know, type of thing. So I think he knows, because like in the clip for the trailer for the next episode, it actually shows Agnes like driving her car, and she's just kind of staring, and then he just like touches her head, and she immediately like wakes up from like this weird trance like state. And no, so that kind of makes me wonder too: is Agnes really Agatha the witch? Because why would, like, if she's the witch and she's the one that's like got a bad agenda, why would she need Vision to like wake her up out of her slumber? You know what I mean? This seems kind of interesting.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to see what they're going with that. Maybe that's just a complete red herring, you know?
It is. So like, apparently he's waking people up throughout the town. That's what they're going to it. At least some people are thinking that. So like there's going to be like a face-off, I think, between Wanda and Vision, like there was in Civil War, where they're going to be on opposite sides on, you know, this issue type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And because that always seems to be the case with them. Like they love each other, but they always pick opposite sides of like a war or battle or whatever.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see where that goes. I don't know. It's like I really just want to know what's going on. But you know, I'm glad that we don't know right away.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Do you want to take another break here, Matt, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some trivia, and then we'll also talk about speculation that we have for future episodes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, right back.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
And we are back. In black. Oh, wait, no.
Back in black.
Most overrated rock band ever. Anyways, so let's, they are the two broke girls of rock music. Anyways, actually, no, they're more like the Big Bang Theory of rock music.
Oh. Wow.
Because people like them. So,
wow.
Anyways, here's some trivia from the Internet Movie Database here about this episode. In the episode, the SWORD headquarters is displayed. The acronym SWORD stands for Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. Okay. So, which is different from what it stands for in the comic books. The barely intelligible words at the beginning of the episode while Monica is coming back from the blip are pieces of dialogue from 2019's Captain Marvel, where Monica was just a child. It's like her mind is recompressing itself by experiencing again every memory in Monica's life.
Right.
Monica Rambeau, at least in the comics, the daughter of Maria Rambeau, who is a close ally to Captain Marvel and featured in Captain Marvel, played by Lashana Lynch. So, yeah, we did see her in Captain Marvel as a little girl. Chronologically speaking, this series takes place in 2023, 3 weeks after the blip was undone in Avengers Endgame. This places WandaVision between Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home. So this takes place before Far From Home.
Oh, okay.
So that'll tell you something.
Yeah. Huh.
In this episode, Agent Wu demonstrates close-up magic when producing his card for Captain Rambeau. He may have learned this in part due to his close relationship with Scott Lang and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Lang was teaching himself close-up magic while under house arrest. So, that's interesting.
Yeah, for that. That was funny.
On the whiteboard, Jimmy writes on, it does say things like, the field around Westfield has 5-mile radius, suggesting Skrulls as a possible cause, and asks, audience, ? Commercials, ? Are they aware, ? So those are other things that he's asking on there that I didn't see. In the blip, people reappearing look like prisms and cubes getting put together. This is a small homage to how Scarlet Witch altered reality in the House of M.
And what's that?
The House of M. That is a comic book that people are saying a comic book storyline that people are saying this is very much influenced by. Yes. Kevin Feige responded to a question regarding everyone appearing from the original blip. For example, if people were mid-air during the blip, oh wow, this is answering what we were talking about earlier. Mid-air during the blip, would they just fall when they came back? Feige has since responded saying that Professor Hulk would account for this and make sure each person would return safely. This would account for some rematerializing in safe environment and not dropping from the sky or even exactly where someone is standing, sitting, etc. In the beginning of the episode, each person seems to be returning just out of everyone's way, more or less. Which makes sense, too, because, you know, it'd be interesting if you were standing in the exact spot that somebody else is standing now. And then you reappear in the blip, you know, you can't occupy the same space.
Your bodies would like mingle into one and then just feel crazy. Yeah. See, Professor Hulk knew what he was doing. You know, he's a smart guy, so...
Yes. So, Darcy finds TV waves superimposed to cosmic microwave background. That's CMBR. Mm-hmm. The radiations from the Big Bang, not the Big Bang Theory, but the TV show, but the Big Bang, still reverberating today throughout the universe. It helps grounding the physics of what's happening into somewhat reality. If you think the Infinity Stones were created during the Big Bang and Wanda got her powers from one, it makes sense that they would have similar signatures.
Right.
So, yeah. So, yeah. So that's what we got. Like, do you have any speculation as to what you think is going to happen in the next episode or so?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Vision's going to become more conscious of what's going on because each episode he seems to kind of get a little bit more of an idea, and it lasts longer each time too. Like the first episode it was like maybe a second, and then it seems like each episode he kind of remains in that state before Wanda like reassures him that, you know, she's got everything under control, which is what she said right before Voodoo Child started the play. And then like it's interesting because Vision, like he looks like kind of concerned, and then like after a second of that, he just like has like this forced smile, like sitcom smile as he walks, you know, behind her and to watch TV with her, and then like for a split second, it almost looks like he actually looks into the camera to us, the audience, and has like this look of like concern on his face,
like, kind of like a help me sort of look.
Yeah, almost. Like that's what it looks like. Almost like she's holding me captive, or she doesn't know what she's doing, or you know. So I think, like I said before, I think like with Civil War, I think he's gonna try to convince her first, just like he did in Civil War, to join his side, and you know, because he doesn't want to go to war with her, obviously, because you know he's like that's his wife essentially.
Yeah.
But I think if you know she's gonna say no, so then he's gonna just start doing things on his own to let people know like what's going on in the town, like try to wake up enough people to what's really happening. Which again, it might not even be what we think is actually happening. It could be because like when Wanda expelled Monica from the house, from the world.
Yeah.
It looked like for a split. Okay, so for one thing, she like cocked her head and she just looked really, really evil. Like all of a sudden, I mean, like I can understand being angry that someone like brought up a subject that you don't want to talk about or whatever. But she looked genuinely like evil, like a completely different person just took over all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And even what she said was interesting, where she said, "You're not my neighbor. You're definitely not my friend. You are a stranger and an outsider, and I want you to leave," or something like that. A stranger and an outsider. That's an interesting phrase because it doesn't sound like that's something Wanda would say. It sounds like something someone else or something else would say. You know, and then after she expelled her, it looked like for a split second, Wanda like looked down on her hands, like she didn't know what she had done, and then all of a sudden she went and repaired the damage, you know, the house or whatever. But then after that, she went into the whole "I got everything under control." So it's like did she know what she had done, or did she not? You know, who knows? That's their way of kind of fucking with us, you know. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think Vision's going to start asking around or trying to make people feel comfortable enough to actually talk about it, because it seems like Herb already knows what's going on, because Agnes told, quote, "Stop it," just like
don't tell, yeah.
So maybe they do know, and they're just afraid to talk about it. So maybe Vision's gonna kind of do like this sort of like community outreach thing, where he's gonna like get enough people talking about it, so they're not as afraid, you know, because it's not just one person talking about it, you know, type of thing. So he might be. I'm still trying to figure out though the whole waking up Agnes thing, because she looked genuine in the little clip that they showed for next week's episode. She looked genuinely like surprised, like she looked like she herself was in a trance, or at least maybe she's just faking it. I don't know, but yeah, I could just keep going on a loop here.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, I have some theories. I think that there's something going on. I don't know. I don't trust Hayward.
Yeah, he's kind of interesting.
He's either really stupid and not qualified for his job.
Right. Well, he kind of said he was a little bit.
Yeah. And maybe that's just what it is. And I kind of hope they don't go the route where he's a bad guy, and it's kind of the whole Robert Redford's character from Civil War all over again, where he was the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., and all of a sudden, you know, it's like, you know, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s bad and infiltrated by Hydra or whatever. You know, I don't want that kind of twist again, but I'm feeling something weird about the guy. So,
well, he could just be selfish, not necessarily a bad guy, but just,
yeah, that's true.
He might, because like, I kind of, because I watched the episode a few times, and I noticed something like when Monica shows up to work, her badge isn't working, and then like the guy at the front desk is like being like, you know, sarcastic, you know, like, oh, if you really worked here, your badge should have worked, and all of a sudden he shows up to like,
let her in.
You know, so it's like, did he redact her badge? Because later on he says, when he's having a meeting with her, he says that her mom basically grounded her from like doing certain missions. Cause,
well, they grounded everybody, not just her. They're not doing things in space anymore.
Right.
And my thing is I think it was just deactivated because it had been 5 years.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's like they probably deactivated anybody that disappeared badge, because right. You know, their badge could still be here even though they disappeared. And if somebody got a hold of the badge, they could, you know, enter this, you know, restricted place, you know?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because it doesn't seem like there's any other kind of protocol there. It's just you swipe a badge and you can get in. There isn't any, like, you know, palm identification or eye scan or anything like that gets people in like you see in other movies, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, and I mean, it's... That's my main thing is I just don't know about this guy. I mean, hopefully he's a good guy. Hopefully he's not bad, and they're just kind of throwing us off here. The other thing is I really want to see Jimmy and Darcy end up together as a couple.
Yeah,
I like their chemistry together. I like it. I'm digging it.
Yeah, they have good chemistry.
Yeah, that's all I got. You know, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things I could speculate about, and I think you covered most of them. But yeah, that's basically all I've got here. Anything else before we sign off here in the universe of our television?
No, I think I'm good.
So, make sure you check out our other episodes. If you're just listening to our WandaVision breakdowns, we've got some cool episodes. We just released a episode with an interview with Jonah Ray, which was really fun, from Mystery Science Theater 3000 and The Meltdown and other numerous things. It was really fun to talk to him. So make sure you check that out. got a lot of cool movie reviews and things of that nature. A lot of bad movie reviews. So, if this is your, only interaction with our show, hope you check that stuff out.
Tons of stuff.
Yeah. Comment on our show. Let us know any of the speculation you have. Send me anything you want to mike@cullenpark.com, or, on our Facebook page. Check out our Patreon. Follow us in the social meds, then the web and the social meds. And, make sure you wear a mask, people. This thing hasn't gone away yet.
Unfortunately, no.
It hasn't. Wear a mask, wear a condom, and
oh boy,
not again. Anyways, be kind to each other. Be kind. Rewind. Don't litter. Help old ladies cross the street if you can.
Sure.
Yep. Do good.
Yep.
And for now we are signing off. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.